Hello everyone, hello gentlemen and ladies. In this video I'm going to show you how to understand new words that you find, for example, in a text, and how to learn them, how to remember them, and how to start using them actively, because as you all know, there's a huge difference between understanding the word when you see it in the text and being able to use it actively. And also, you probably know the saying, use it or lose it. That means you have to use the new words or you will lose them. You will forget them. I'm going to show you, and I'm not going to teach you, I'm just going to help you learn how to do that with the example of 5 new, hopefully new words for you. And I'm going to walk you through the whole process. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a little and simple trick how to remember these words and how to start using them actively. That's important. So the first word, imagine that you see this sentence somewhere in a book, doesn't matter. Sheldon smooches to his boss because he wants to be promoted or he wants to get promoted. So let's say you don't understand the word. So what I suggest, I'm gonna show you. This is my favorite dictionary, online dictionary, lexico.com. It's an Oxford dictionary. I like this one, but feel free to use any dictionary you want. I like this one. I'm going to type in smooge. I'm not going to walk you through the whole process. I'm not going to explain everything, even though it's pretty simple, just the important parts. So here we see that smooge can be either verb or noun. Here in the text, it was used as a verb, so I'm going to focus in this video only on smooge. Here we see the alternative or variant spelling. You can use this or this. There is the definition that very often might be complicated, but don't worry, it's not that bad. Plus, you can always click on these words that will be further explained. What I suggest doing is first click on synonyms. They can give you the idea of what smooge means, even though this is your first time seeing it. And you are very likely to be familiar with at least some of these synonyms. So that will give you the idea of what smooge means. But here, be careful. They are just synonyms. They are not identical. They are not exactly the same. They are not interchangeable. Be careful. But yes, they can give you the idea. They are synonyms. What you definitely have to do is click on more example sentences. Now Control F, smooge, because you have to see how it is used in the context. You have to be 100% sure you understand the word. You have to be 100% sure you can use the word. So again, if you see it in the text and you know what it means, but you don't know how to use it, well, that is not enough. And I see it with people that I help with English all the time. They kind of understand what it means, but when they are supposed to use it, they totally fail and they say something which makes no sense. So here we see that you have to smooge to someone. Or you can even smooge up to someone. Smooge to mom, smooge to my boss, smooge up to someone. So here you can clearly see that you cannot smooge someone, you have to smooge to someone or smooge up to someone. And what does it mean? Well, when you smooge up to your boss, as was here in this example, Sheldon smooges up maybe to his boss because he wants to get promoted. It means he does things that are not necessarily, he is not necessarily kind, he doesn't really mean it, but he wants his boss to like him. He wants to be popular with his boss. He does things that the boss likes. He brings her candies or pears from his own garden, or he gives her some compliments and these things. So smooch is not very nice. People should not smooch up to their bosses because it's not real kindness. But he wants something from the boss. He wants to be promoted. He wants to get some benefits from his boss. He wants to get some special preferential treatment. So this is the reason he smooches up or just smooches to his boss. So that's the word smooch. You, of course, so now you know how to use it. You not only know what it means, but you also know how to use it. And that is important because if you do not look up these example sentences, trust me, you are likely to say, I smooch my boss. But no, you cannot smooch someone. What is also important is to learn the correct pronunciation. It's of course written here, smooch, but of course feel free to click on it. When you click on it, it will, well, tell you how to pronounce it. So that's the first word, smooch. What do we have next? We have cavil. My wife cavils all the time at the decorations I put up last Christmas. So what does it mean? Okay, let's look it up. Cavil. Again, we have a verb, we have a noun, but let's focus on the verb because here in the example sentence, it's a verb. Here you see spellings in different situations, double L, one L, you know it. Pronunciation, of course, cavil, you can click on it. What does it mean? It means when you, first maybe I'm gonna say how to use it. Here you see that you can cavil about something. You can cavil at something here. Later there is even cavil, I think there was even cavil on? No, probably not. Cavil about something here. Cavil at something here in the example sentence. You can also cavil that something here. You can also just cavil. She blah 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 blah. She cavilled. That's also okay. So you cannot cavil something, just like with the preceding example of smooch. You cannot cavil something. You have to cavil at something. You have to cavil about something. You have to cavil that blah 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 something. Or you just cavil. And now, what does it mean? When you cavil at something, you, as the definition says, you make petty or unnecessary objections. So again, if you don't know what petty means, feel free to click on it. But I'm going to explain it this time. When you cavil at something, you kind of complain about it, but unnecessarily. You look for some little piffling, trivial details which do not even matter, and you make a big deal out of it. It's totally petty. Maybe you only cavil because you don't like the person that you're talking to. Maybe you just want to annoy them. You just want to hurt them. So you make all these petty, stupid, unnecessary objections. They cavilled at the cost. Maybe the cost was not so bad, but they just cavilled about it. They complained about it. Look at the synonym, complain. But cavil is a special kind of complaint because it's petty. This is what children often do. My wife cavils all the time at the decorations I put up last Christmas. So what? It's not a big deal. I love the decorations. She should just stop niggling me, which will be a word which we will deal with later. So you have to be 100% sure you know how to use it. It's not enough that you understand it. Let's continue. Another very nice. All these words are pretty fancy, but all of them are beautifully useful. The opposition party, like the political party, traduced her only as part of political tactics. So what does it mean when you traduce someone? When you traduce someone, and here the usage is slightly easier because you traduce someone. You don't traduce about someone. You don't traduce at someone. You traduce someone. And it means that you speak badly about them or maybe even tell lies because you want to damage or ruin their reputation. So it's not fair, it's not nice, we should not traduce. But here they traduced her because they wanted to hurt her politically. Maybe they were lying, maybe they were not, doesn't matter. But they said something behind her back publicly that was supposed to hurt or damage her reputation. And again, be sure that you know how to pronounce it. It's not traduce, for the love of God. It is not traduc. It's just traduce. Click on it, play it, listen to it. Great. Remember it. A good way to remember the word is just to say it, to pronounce it like 200 times. And if you don't have time to pronounce it 200 times, say it 500 times. Traduce. Feel free to click on synonyms, but again, be careful. Next word. Faff. Stop faffing around with those pictures and just print them out already. Faff. I'm going to type it in. Faff. When you faff, and again, let's focus on verb, you spend time in ineffectual activities. So basically you waste your time. You do something totally useless, pointless, and meaningless. You're just wasting your or everyone's time. Let's click, there are no synonyms, which is a bit shocking, but maybe there is no perfect synonym, but there are never perfect synonyms. Definitely click on more example sentences. Control F, faff. How do we use it? You can just faff. She faffed all day. Or you can say faff around. Faff around, faff around, faff around. You can faff about. It's basically the same. Or you can faff on. I've been faffing on. I've been faffing around. I've been faffing about. There is more. You can... where is it? Yes, you can faff around on the computer. You can faff around with the computer. I would say there is slight difference. Faff around on the computer. You are probably doing something on the computer, maybe playing some stupid game. Yeah, some games are stupid. Or you can faff around with the computer, which might mean that you are faffing around with the cables and the computer is actually turned off. So again, you can just faff, or you can faff around, faff about. You can faff about with something. You can faff about or around on something. You have to look up how to use it. It's not enough to just understand it. Pronunciation is pretty much straightforward. Faff. And last word that we have, no, not here, is niggle. I have two sentences for niggle. Well, why? Because a niggle has two maybe distinct or similar, it doesn't matter, not same meanings. There are two rather different meanings. And again, I'm going to ignore a noun because here in the example sentence or sentences, it is used as a verb. The email my team leader sent me last week still niggles at me. So what does it mean when the email still niggles at me? And here again, you have to say niggle at. You cannot say niggle me. That would be here. For now, it's niggle at me. And if that email still niggles at me, I still think about it. I'm annoyed by it. Maybe there was something unfair. Maybe my team leader said something unfair. Or I feel discomfort. It's not comfortable for me to think about it. I'm stressed. I feel anxiety. I feel unpleasant. Or the email was unpleasant, no matter what was in the email. Here you can see that something niggles at you, niggle at me, niggle at me, niggle at me. It's probably always niggle. Yes, and it has always niggled at me about blah, 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 blah. Niggle at, not just niggle me. No, niggle at me, or at my brain, or at my mind. Here there's even at the back of my mind. Not definition. Meaning number 2 is criticize or annoy someone in a petty way. And hey, here we have the word petty again. So if you put your time into learning, into learning the word cavil, now you will benefit from it because we see the word petty again. So when you niggle someone, and in this case, it is not a niggle at someone, it is niggle someone. And that's the reason we have to always look up and be careful about how to use it. Criticize or annoy someone in a petty way. So you criticize someone, you annoy someone, but you do it in a petty way. Like, again, just stupid details which don't even matter. And probably you do it in a petty way because you don't like the person and you want to hurt them. People often niggle me for working too much because they are jealous. That's a perfect reason to be petty. When you are jealous, you are very often petty. You focus on stupid details which do not matter. So people often criticize me for working too much because they're jealous. So we see the difference here. Niggle at me or niggle me. You have to be able to use it. It's not enough to understand it. I'm going to say it a few more times. So now I have introduced these 5 words for you. They might be fancy, but I firmly believe that all of them are very practical. Now let's say you understand what they mean. You perfectly understand what they mean. You know how to pronounce them. You know how to use them. And now you just have to remember them. So there is a very simple trick how to do that. What I suggest is you open up a new file. Of course, you can do everything in paper. You can make handwritten notes in beautiful notebook, the old school way. That's the way I love it. Or that's the way I like it, because I love it. I suggest you open a new file. For example, you can call it my active vocabulary, and you just copy these new words here. And then, well, you print it out, possibly, and you carry it around everywhere you go. You always have it on you. And every time you get a chance, you talk to someone, you get to talk to someone, you have this paper at hand, you look at it, and you force yourself to slip these words into the conversation. You have to force yourself to actively use these words, because again, use it or lose it. If you don't use these words, you will lose them. And do it so long until you are very confident that you can use all these words very nicely and correctly. Once you have felt that you have learned them, and once you have felt that you are actually using them actively, finally, actively, when you speak, when you talk to someone, start adding more words here. Keep making the list bigger and bigger and longer. So let's say later you're going to have 10 words here. Great. Carry that piece of paper with you and use these 10 words in your conversations. Again, force yourself to use them. No one is going to do it for you. And once you feel pretty confident that you have mastered all these 10 words, and once you are sure that you are using them actively, add 5 more. And keep growing your list. This is what I do. I do it too, but I do it with handwritten notes in my notebook, because I personally love nice paper, traditional notebooks, high quality notebooks, and I love making handwritten notes. So this is the last trick, simple trick. It's not rocket science. Keep carrying this piece of paper or list or notebook with you with all these new words, and keep forcing yourself to use them. And that's pretty much it. I've showed you how to learn new words, how to understand them, how to memorize them with this simple trick, and how to turn these passive words into your active vocabulary arsenal. And thank you for watching.